Welcome all, and thank you for joining TÜVSÜD's complimentary webinar titled Cyber Resilience Blues, Secure Your Plant or Ensure Compliance, presented by Siva, our cybersecurity senior expert at TÜVSÜD America. Before we begin the presentation today, we have a few housekeeping rules. If you or someone you know is having connection issues, please connect through LAN instead of Wi-Fi if available for better connectivity. Also, please view this webinar through the recommended browsers of Chrome, Edge, or Firefox if available. All participants are muted today to avoid any background noise during the webinar. For the question and answers period of today's session, there is a Q&A tab, so please submit your questions through the Q&A tab, and we will address those questions. Also, there is a short survey, so please stay on a few minutes after the event, as the event ends, for these short survey questions. And we do truly appreciate your comments and feedback. Now let me introduce TÜVSÜD as well as our session today. TÜVSÜD is world-renowned for providing international testing, assessment, training, and certification services for over 150 years, with offices in over 1,000 locations in 50 countries and represented by approximately 30,000 employees. As a global leader in management system certification, validation, and verification audits, TÜVSÜD's extensive industry experience and expertise elevate the management systems of our clients through our unique approach towards audits. TÜVSÜD assists companies of all sizes with a tailored audit approach specific to your company's size and industry. We can support you with various ISO-based management system standards, sustainability, as well as customized audit solutions, and of course, assisting your company with industrial cybersecurity. If you are looking for a trusted, globally recognized provider that is responsive to assist with your company's transformation and certification needs, TÜVSÜD is your partner. And now a little bit about our session today. Should you prioritize protecting your industrial plant from cyber criminals or ensuring cyber compliance? Whether it's a manufacturing plant, continuous process plant, energy and utility industry, smart grid, renewable power plant, automotive, or rail and transportation industry, effective cyber protection and compliance start with a comprehensive on-site OT ICS risk assessment. This assessment helps identify critical assets and vulnerabilities. Be sure to develop a cybersecurity strategy that aligns with regulatory requirements and industry best practices. Prioritize security improvements based on risk assessment, focusing first on high-impact, high-likelihood threats. Implement a layered security approach that includes network segmentation, strong access controls, and robust security software. TÜVSÜD's on-site cybersecurity risk assessments are based on major cybersecurity standards and guidelines. And now I would like to turn it over to our expert, Siva. Siva, thank you so much for presenting today. And now I'll turn it over to you.
Hi, dear all. Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome. I'm thrilled to see such a strong turnout for today's session on industrial cybersecurity. Despite your busy Tuesday schedule, your presence here shows that you care a lot about staying ahead of the cybersecurity curve. My name is Shivakumar Radhakrishnan. You can simply call me Shiva, and I'll be your presenter today. It's simple, just a small background of mine. So I'm an instrumentation engineer with MSc in Information Technology and a law graduate. And I have around 35 years of experience in this field, especially in the automation and digital side, where 20 plus years of and cybersecurity, both in industrial and mostly industrial for around 10 to 15 years in industrial, and then overall cybersecurity. And otherwise, I work with multiple key international companies. Where with TÜVSÜD, I'm here for last 6 years now. Otherwise, I was with Schneider Electric, Veolia. I was in Saudi Aramco for around 7 years, and then ESPN and Philips. So this is just a small introduction of mine. Over the next 40 minutes, we'll explore industrial cybersecurity in terms of multi-vertical, multi-approach on tangible grounds. So this is what our focus here is today. So we also encourage your questions. So feel free to drop them in the chat box on a Q&A panel. We'll tackle as many as we can during the Q&A session at the end. So let's just get started. Yeah. So before going here, no, today's session, no, we have three pollings to make it very interactive. So first, with a basic initial polling that will make you interested and to want to know more about you. So the first, take your time. You can take around 10 to 15 seconds to respond to this. So what is your organization's biggest cybersecurity challenge today? As on today's challenges. So it can be a skilled person, lack of skilled person, or the budget constraints, or the or when you are trying to integrate the legacy systems. So that's a big challenge. Then the compliance and regulations, then the threat detection and response. So you can go ahead and start responding to this. So I would be very happy to see that and give you the feedback on that. But what is a tangible one? What is applicable to the today's world, today's requirement? The challenge, most challenge. I'm happy to see the you are hitting the button very fast. Good, good. Please go ahead. And I can see that a lot of people. I can see lack of skilled personnel. Yes, and slowly they're catching up with compliance and regulations. Excellent, excellent. Because I agree with you. I agree with you. So it is almost 50% of the audience. So you chose like lack of skilled personals. Very true. It is very true. The reason behind this you have IT cybersecurity personnel everywhere, and you have a automation engineer and the subject matter experts everywhere. But combining this to IT OT convergence is the one like very challenging today. I agree with you. I agree with you. And the next one is major challenges, compliance with regulations. You well said, and thanks. Let us move ahead with today's presentation. Before moving to the presentation, I have just make a healthy competitive landscape for the cybersecurity. So I'm this simple three questions I'm just going to put across, and I'm sure like every one of you also agree with me on this. So this is a challenge everywhere, like this competition, which is like not as per today, cyber protection or cyber compliance. Which one is important? Which one is relevant for today? And which one is more relevant? So that is what the first one is. And second one is like next biggest challenge is whether information security or cyber security. Which one is superior? So which one is important? So this is the second one. And the third one is again, whether it is an information technology, IT cybersecurity, or operational technology, OT cybersecurity, which one is superior? So I'm just going to leave it, the response to you. We'll go one by one and very short. I'm not going to take much of your time on this, but all these three topics are really important. So yes, the first one, it's a practical verdict. You don't need to think about, but both are important. Both are important. So both cyber protection and cyber compliance are important. But in the OT world, the cyber security protection is more critical because for the your systems and data, because it also includes the security side or safety side of that. So that way, cyber protection is more important and the high priority than the cyber compliance. Okay, when you do the protection, I'm sure compliance will fall in place automatically. So that is what the practical verdict is. I'm sure you will agree with me on this. Next one is like information security and versus cyber security. It is a simple thing, like as I told you, the wallet full of money. You have a full currencies with the wallet, and you want to protect the currency. That currency is protected by the wallet. So the wallet is the cyber security here, and currency is information security here. So you take it like which one is important here. So that way, it is both are closely related. Neither is inherently superior. So to serve the different purpose, and it overlaps significantly like both information security, but information security is the base for cybersecurity. Okay, but cybersecurity protects more in the tangible actions. So that we can go into details on that. The third one is so whether IT cybersecurity or OT cybersecurity, which one is important here? There's no competition. Both are important because the today's field, the OT, the industrial cybersecurity expects both IT and OT get converged, okay, converged, so that it protects. So the protection can be a better for the digital landscape for today's digital landscape, okay, because you everyone, but only what happened in the practical scenario is most of the budgetaries, most of the budget for the companies, 95% of the budget, cyber security budgets go to IT. Only 5% goes to for protecting ISIS and OT. So that means like our today's webinar, if it can address and reach some certain level, if the 5% goes to 10% also, I'll be very much happy. So that is what our main purpose here. Let us go to the next one. Yeah. So the unified to suit methodology, it's a cyber security risk assessment. So when I say like it is tailor-made for multi-verticals. When I say verticals, it can be a continuous process plant, it can be a manufacturing plant, discrete manufacturing, or a power plant, or a automotive plant, or a rail industry. So what to suit unified methodology is we have a one cyber security risk assessment which can address multiple verticals. Okay, we don't need to go for a no. We have the no, 5 stage and 10 stage of cybersecurity risk assessment that can address individual verticals, of course. So we will be extending that to tailor made to reach as per their respective standards and uh, standards, okay, and regulations. Yeah. So there are two types, as I said. One is a 5 stage risk assessment, another is 10 stage risk assessment. So both are on site. Okay, there is no remote. There is no remote. There is a this is an on site risk assessment. Okay, this risk assessment applicable to all critical plants, continuous process plant like any you take it up anything petrochemicals, oil, gas, any chemical plants which has a continuous process 24/7, 365 days. So the same way for it is for a manufacturing, automotive, and rail verticals. So this risk assessment applicable to all the deliverables. Okay. So there are five, as I told you, like 5 stages usually meant for a simple audit assessment. This is usually been preferred by the cyber insurance companies. Okay. When someone want to protect their plant, so they would go for a cyber insurance. When they go for a cyber insurance, they need a on-site risk assessment for industry to have their premium to be more tangible and more simple. Okay, so when you do the more gaps, when you have more gaps, you have to pay more premium. So that is where it works out, the 5 stage risk analysis and risk assessment. The 10 stage is the one what we are the industry required now. It is a 5 to 5, it is around 4 to 5 days of on-site, and it covers entire thing. And I'll go to the details in the next slides. But the deliverables would be come out with the risk scoring and the maturity scoring. Then the gap analysis report. We also do the recommendations for overall ICS cybersecurity resilience. Okay, and we include this network architecture upgrade for suggestions, and for a security policy also we'll be suggesting for some improvements. So these are all the thing it includes in the 10 stage risk assessment. Yeah. So this is the 10 stage gap analysis. So all these 10 stages, every individual thing I can walk you through in the next slides. This is a simple 10 stage, which is a proprietary for TÜV. We have created this 10 stage risk assessment for multiple verticals. At the same time, we follow the respective standards and guidelines, okay, and the frameworks. This is a 5 stage one, and this is a 5 stage risk assessment, usually meant for a cyber insurance purpose, okay. And 10 stage is the one what we are looking for multiple industry verticals. Yeah. So what in this 5 and 10 stages, what our major focus would be. So we focus on four things. Okay, we all know like starting from the network segmentation. If your network segmentation is proper, and if you have your perimeter, entire perimeter covered, or your plant and production workflow network is covered, then your plant is safe. Okay, I would say that because this is an important thing. So we focus our risk assessment on the defensible architecture, and then the firewall, OT firewall, then the risk-based patch management in OT, then the remote access. I know there are multiple other things also important things, but we focus on these four apart from that because out of this 3 to 4 days of on-site, 2 plus 1 day, 2 days and one more day is been spent especially for this four in addressing this thing. Yeah. So the architecture one, what we do is like we check on the review the effective network segmentation because we all know like the flat network will encourage the hackers to come in and hack the network. So that is the way like we do the network segmentation. Even that is actually the network segmentation is now slowly taking a backseat. It's not the backseat, but it is a mandatory now, becoming a mandatory. Now people are going for additional micro segmentation, okay, which to get a granular control of the and isolation of the network traffic for the OT. So that way, like no, it can enforce the least privilege. So this is what this no, our risk assessment cover importantly on this architectural study. Okay, network architecture study. We work on the segmentation, conduits, and zones. These are all covered in this risk assessment. Next one is the firewall, OT firewall. When I say OT firewall, it does not mean like it cannot work on the IT firewall. See, many for practical reasons, I'll tell you, 60 to 70%. With my experience, I say 60 to 70% of the companies they use only one firewall, and they use both OT and IT rules in that. So it is not wrong. We can do that still successfully. But what we have to do is focus on the monitoring system, and you have to do the review the firewall rules regularly. Okay, it's on almost on a daily basis. So we have to do the traffic level. So that way, like you if you are fine like OT firewall, if you don't have, you can use it the IT firewall with the both. Okay, with the proper rule sets. Then again with the patch management. When I say risk-based patch management, it start with the asset visibility, then the patching capabilities. So I know like patching is very important. So you have to review the patching, not just when it is patched or delayed patch. You also need to focus on the missed patches. Okay, you see the missed patches and then the firmware updates when it is done and what is the vulnerability levels and scores for that particular operating system or the firmware. So that and all the thing like you have to focus on this. The last one is the OT remote access. This is very important for your the access your network getting access by your vendors, supply chain, and even your OEM to do the calibration or the maintenance purpose. They will access it from the outside. So multi-factor authentication, everyone say it is actually it is not a it is not everyone know it is not a golden protection, but it is a must. It is a basic, I would say. So multi-factor authentication, just leave it as it is because it is going to be there anyway. Okay. The next one is like you have to focus on the on-demand access. Okay. Even if you are having a proper VPN, I'm sure like this can also be get compromised. So that is the reason like even if you have the VPN, go for on-demand access. Now I can say like around 40 to 50% of the companies are already having a on-demand access. What is the latest thing like people now having is like the many large industries and manufacturers and some power plants, they have the BOMGAR and Genoa box switch. Okay, BOMGAR they use it to access with the applications on the other side, but for the PLCs SCADA system they use Genoa box. Okay, for Genoa box is like even some companies Genoa box is enough to access that, but if some company they have the manual switch, even if they allow someone to buy Genoa box, they also have a manual switch from the plant side, so that it works as an on-demand access for your PLCs. So that is why the OT remote access gets very important here. Yeah. So this is what our should approach. I think I explained to you. This is the 10 stage one. So this is a proprietary, but it works on as per the industry standards and Uh, it is, yeah. So this is a 10 stage one. It is included. Most of the things are included here, except for the security policy and business continuous process and disaster recovery and incident response. These are all the things we don't focus much, but we would go through that and offer some kind of a feedback to them on the improvement, how the plan companies can improve on that. So yeah. So this is a detailed scope of the risk assessment, what we do on this 3 to 4 days or 4 to 5 days. So we work on the detailed interviews with the team, the IT team, OT team, and the operator team. So what we start with the vulnerability assessment reports and when the assessments were made earlier, and that we go through that, and we also focus on the penetration testing when they are done for the applications. Then for the device side, hardenings details. Then we work on this, security, earlier security assessment, what are the campaigns they did earlier, and the incident response posture for the current incident response posture. Then we focus on the ICS assets and workstations. Okay, ICS inventory is like what we do. It is not just a register or just list down all what is the ICS, whether it's a router, switch, or PLCs or HMIs. No, we work on the full details about the models and then the firmware, current firmware, when it is last updated, what is the OS it is when it was last updated, what is the vulnerability level. So we work on all this, so do that, and we also do the heat mapping. Okay, we also do the heat mapping of that. So based on the risk, and this next is like we have detailed interactions. We discuss on the controls, so how the operational controls, technical controls, then the implementation side. Work on the disaster recovery plans, business continuity plans, plant wise. Not many companies they have a corporate level, but we will focus on the plant level, individual plant level. So that is what we say. We'll speak to the champion. So who is a cybersecurity champion designated by the that corporate. So we interact with them, and most importantly, we focus more on the awareness and trainings. This is what when I say awareness and training, it is not just a supervisory training or a managerial training. We focus on the operator level and the on maintenance level. So the team from the maintenance and operations, they should be the trained well, because they are the one like who can identify when the plant is attacked. Okay, when the plant is attacked, that is what the reason, like in OT systems and plant, it takes 2 to 3 days to identify whether what is wrong in the system, whether there is a cybersecurity breach or some other issues. So that we have to improve on that. So there are particular individual trainings for that to how to identify on that. So we can support you on that. The third one is like direct system reviews. This is important thing in our risk assessment. So we spend a minimum one day for this. Okay, because what we do, we take control of the system. We have with the administrative control, and of course we will have all the proper thing. And you, there'll be a IT team with us. No, your client side, they'll accompany us. So first do the architecture and segmentation. We let the client explain to us, and then we work on the system. So that will not review on that, because that is a different thing. But we will give them the study of that. What is the improvement they can make? Because what happened is like they would be having a architecture, but on the implementation level, it could be only 60 to 70% is implemented. Not no whatever there in the paper and the architecture, it is not implemented yet. So that we make sure like it is done 100%. Then the network access, the remote access, then the firewall rules. We spend around half a day for firewall rules. Okay, we work on the what are the traffic levels, whether the how many rules are not used for more than 5 days or 6 days, and what is the expiry duration. So we work on all this minute detail for this firewall, and then the ACL access control list and IDS signatures. We review that. We also review on the application whitelisting, security logs. When I say security logs, we don't work on those thousands of security logs. We just see, or we don't enter into the operation level security logs. We focus only on the communication or failures. So only on the connectivity levels we'll focus on that. So that can be separated from the normal security logs. Only the critical logs have been reviewed. Same way with the so active and passive network information gathering. Many companies these days, around 40% of the companies, they already implemented some kind of clarity or armies. So this passive network information gathering. So we work on that. So we review that and see the what is the level of network discovery is made and what is the asset inventory is there, what is the ICS inventory is there. We focus on that. Okay. So then we work on the backup and restoration, and we see that what is the encryption level of the tapes and how many days the backups are there, and what is the physical safety, and what how the the encryption is, whether the encryption over the air is also made. Okay, so that is what these are all the few things we focus on our risk assessment. Of course, anti malware and antivirus has been taken care. So the risk assessment, when we do the 4 to 5 days of risk assessment, so we've come out with a risk profile study, and we come out with 4 type of a risk level. One is marginal risk and moderate risk, substantial risk and critical risk. Okay, so this way, like, we categorize that particular plant with this risk profile and then the maturity level. So the maturity posture is like, we segregate. So this is as per the industry thing, like the 5 types of maturity posture has been considered, whether it's a baseline or evolving or intermediate or advanced or innovative. Okay. So this also we come out with score, grading based on the study, multiple study. And so this is the 10-stage risk assessment, where each and every stage you can see that the risk profile is made and then the maturity profile is made. Okay. Then overall summary can be mentioned as, this is actually a sample, not a sample. This is an actually done for a gas plant in Caribbean island. Okay, so this is the actual gas plant which they have the moderate risk 5.17 out of 10. So which is still considered which is still considered high, very high. And about the overall cybersecurity maturity profile, they are at 2.94 out of 5, which is intermediate maturity. Even though the company is very big, but we feel like they still have a lot of work to do on the maturity profile. Okay, so this is what our focus on do that. So I think we'll park your questions on this cybersecurity, this risk assessment at the later stage when the session is over. So this is the next one, polling. So this is very, very, very very important to for the current day. Is how often do you conduct cybersecurity assessment on your OT and ICS system? So everyone, this is the important. If you're a CISO or if you're a OT expert, so this is what the important things your management might also be expecting from you. Whether you do it quarterly, whether you do it annually, only after the incident, or you never do it, or you're not sure because it has been handled by your IT team. Okay, so that way, like that way you can see that. So take your time. So you can take 10 to 15 seconds more to respond to this, and I'm sure, like, I can see some unanimous response for this, because everyone uh, know this, the response. I know, like, what is going to come on this. Yeah, uh, I can say it is not as expected, because many people started saying they're not sure. So they're not sure. So because risk assessment, cybersecurity assessment are very, very important, whether to protect your first stage or to protect your plant, or even if you want to go for any compliance or a certification. So the cybersecurity assessment is a must in your OT and ICS systems. So what I can tell you the scoring here. So the 50% of you almost they mentioned, like, they're not sure. They're not sure, and 25% they said quarterly, and 25% they say annually. Okay, so I would say the exact no the as per the industry standard, as per the today's risk scenario, it has to be done. the risk assessment has to be done annually. Okay, it has to be done at least once in a year. Okay, so what usually people does it, like a company does it. So they have an internal team, IoT team and IT team. They jointly do the internal risk assessment. Okay, which is every 6 months. They do the every 6 months, and then they invite a third party company to do a no do annual risk assessment, because it has to be done by the third party, not your own company. So this is what the industry requirement is, so that to have a no to have a clarity on your cyber resilience. So what, where you currently stand. So this is the exact requirement. Okay, so let us go to the next one. So this is an important one, like this risk assessment, how, where we are focusing on that. As I said, it is for a multi verticals. So how you select those verticals? Why are you focusing on power plant? Why are you focusing on manufacturing plant? So it is based on the CVSS. I'm sure everyone is aware of the CVSS scoring. So this is no, this is the common vulnerability scoring system, because based on this scoring, so you have to focus your cybersecurity activities and your strategy based on this, because it based on the risk and the safety and your investment and your public safety and the national risk, like that. Okay, so start from the low, medium, high, and critical. So I'm sure like anything high and critical has to be attended immediately. Okay, that is what the current level of OT cybersecurity is. So, so based on this, we have focused on three type of verticals. Okay, first one is we focus on utility and manufacturing plant. Okay, so utility includes power and water and everything is included in that. Then there is a manufacturing plant. So why it is mentioned here is, so the CVS score is always high to critical for power plants and the utility side. Okay, because there's a lot of legacy system. There's a SCADA and ICS are there for exposure, and there is a limited patching windows. Many things you can see that even though you say like every 6 months is a mandatory patching, and 3 months quarterly is for and for critical patching also, I can see like many companies they have not even done the critical patching also. Okay, so that way like they are no that hands are tied on the patching windows. So that way like it is categorized as a critical. So our focus is also, our risk assessment is focused on this utility and manufacturing plant. Come to the manufacturing plant, the risk level is medium to high. Okay, because of industrial IoT. Okay, industrial IoT, then there is remote access by your vendors and the supply chain and your OEM. Then there is the manufacturing plant has a lot of a robotic process. So this RPA, or a robotic process automation, plays a major role in getting the risk getting deviated from medium to high. So that way, like we have to, our risk assessment focus on this RPA, then remote access and industrial IoT. These are the area we focus. And obviously, yes, we work on the NIST cybersecurity framework, where risk assessments are based on CSF, NIST CSF, and now it is NIST 2. And okay, then we work on this IEC 62443-2-1 and -3-2 for architecture, zones, and conduits. Okay, because this is important in our architectural review. Okay, so the segmentation, conduits, and zones. So we focus on work on this 6443 standards. Then for the NIST as SP 882 revision 3, we work on this IIoT and ICS and OT. Okay, this is what our risk assessment are based on this. Okay, and also for remote access and VPN, we follow the guidelines from NIST 846. Okay, and of course for the security controls, specific to energy, we work we make use of ISO 27019. Okay, for the power plant specific to North America. Okay, and then the grid from Canada and Mexico, Canada, Mexico, we focus on the next step. So we do the compliance-based risk assessment, and so this is very important for the mandatory for the BES. Okay, bulk electricity supply. So whether it is generation, power generators or power transmitters, So we work with them for the next step. Okay. Then the last one is for the Department of Energy, where C square M square, where cybersecurity capability maturity model is focused in our risk assessment. So these are all the standards we follow for particular risk assessment. When we can tailor made and then support you on that. But the risk assessment structure is same, 10-stage risk assessment, whether it's for utility, whether it's for manufacturing plant. But we make use of the individual specific regulations and standards. Yeah. So the major ICS equipments are covered during our risk assessment. We cover entire ICS, like includes a DCS, SCADA, PLCs, controllers, HMIs, everything is included in that in our focus. We also on the system side, if you see building management system is included, then there is a BTG monitoring and control. BTG is for the boiler and turbine generators monitoring and controls. So and the steam analyzers and fuel analysis is included in that. So we work on the pipeline monitoring and controls, okay. And FNG is very much included for fire and gas detection for a safety side, SAIL, and we also work on this ESD emergency shutdown systems, okay. So that way, like we focus entire thing, like all the ICS and OT systems and equipments. We focus on that for the risk assessment. Yeah, the next one is for the rail. So the rail is like evolving feed vertical, which is like you can see the risk, which is a national level risk. Okay, so that is what the risk assessment for rail, metro, and the tram and and bus cybersecurity services is very much important here. And it is no, it you cannot do kind of a checklist kind of a risk assessment. You need an on-site risk assessment. That is what the team is here to do, the on-site risk assessment. So that we ensure the robust cybersecurity and resilient operation for the critical rolling stock and the infrastructure and control system. Okay, for the rail. So this is what our focus is. So again, I can say like rail sector is considered a high risk. Okay, because of the digitalization of increasing digitalization, legacy infrastructure, safety critical operations, and evolving threat landscape. So these are the key area of like where the risk has been mitigated here. Okay, unless you do the proper risk assessment, so the risk stays and the residual risk also will be there for posing a high level risk. Okay, so for the standards and regulatory, we use NIST CSF, okay, for a framework, and for an European side, like we also use NIS2. Okay, NIS2 OT is now evolving, that we are including in our risk assessment, because NIS2 is the one like many what they are using it for organization, but now there is a NIS2 for a plant level NIS2. There is a NIS2 OT, so that has been included in our risk assessment. We have already conducted a few large risk assessment for based on NIS2, okay, NIS2 OT side. So that way, like we also for the rail, for specific to rail network, we start with the 62443, which is mandatory here for control systems and rail networks. So we use the 62443-2-1, -3-2, and for the system -3-3. Okay, so the major thing what we focus for the railway applications. Okay, there is a lot of railway applications and systems where before we work, our risk assessment is focused on TS 50701. Okay, this is specifically for the railway applications. Okay, we work with the operational team and the operational the environment, and then we make a risk assessment, on-site risk assessment based on the first layer of 62443 and then 50701. We all know like CSRMS, that is a cybersecurity railway management system, is slowly coming up. Okay, it is already 6 through IEC 6 through 452 is already evolved. It is now anytime it can come. But what we do is like by doing 50701, we are doing a readiness assessment for 6 through 452. Okay, that way it is our focus for the rail network is specific, not very generic, and our deliverables is very specific. We also cover a TSA directive for this is for an incident response requirement. Okay, for the rail operators. So this is also included in our risk assessment. Okay, and this is for the rail network. Yeah, what the major ICS equipments we covered in rail is we cover the entire rolling stock. cover the CBTC. There's a communication-based train controls, then a signaling system. The major thing what we focus is like we also do the interlocking. Okay, reviewing the interlocking at the computer-based interlocking, we review that. Okay, we also do the on-train monitoring and recording side, and the driver side, then the telecommunication, then the operator workstations. We and then there is a predictive maintenance and condition monitoring system for rail devices and systems and applications. Okay, so that way we focus, but we don't focus much on the network switches and other thing because it is already covered in there with their engagement with their OEMs. So we, of course, we take the input from them, their review, recent review, or their recent risk assessment. Okay, in our report, we include that in our report. So this is the major ICS equipment we covered, and this is the control system application and software. So this is what we focus on, the rolling stock and interfaces. Then there is a production systems, signaling application and software. We work on that. So whatever the systems, whatever the softwares, we work on that. Again, with the payment terminals, ticketing systems, and mobile app, we don't get into the on-site review because we take input from the one which, because these are all the three areas where they already do very frequently, and we take the input from them. We have a separate review with them, in-person review. So there we'll take input for the payment terminals, ticketing system, and mobile app. Okay. Otherwise, we cover entire thing on the rolling stock control systems and the GPS and all on site. So this is the rail system, and the final one what we are here covering is automotive networks and the production of automatic production plant. Okay. So this where again this automotive networks is an industry faces again high to critical vulnerability. So this is why it has become critical. Okay, now because of the legacy system, legacy software, and the software risk. If you see the automotive side, I know there are many latest, even for the latest cars and latest automotive, the around 24% of the automotive software components were more than a decade old because it's not patched recently. Because it will not able to, they're not able to patch, but there are multiple unsupportive. So what they do, like either to get away with that or just continue to use until they go for the newer version. So that is what the risk getting increased. Like in the same way with the cloud and OTA. Okay, so over there risks are too much high for this this automated networks. Of course, supply chain vulnerabilities are there. So these are all the system. These are all the areas where the CVSS is increased. Okay, so where we have to focus a risk assessment on that. So the risk assessment is focused on based on this. What they do, like we focus on this specific standards and regulatory, because this framework is same. We focus on the same framework, NIS2 and NIS2 for Europe. Then again 62443 form a basic, because this is the golden standard for ICS, the OT cybersecurity. Then we get into the road vehicle cybersecurity of 21434, ISO 21434. Okay, when we do the road, like TÜVSÜD is known for functional safety. Okay, because they're one of the few companies they have done too many assessments on the functional safety risk assessment. So here the 21434 when we do cyber security, this functional safety also included for the specific to automotive requirement. Okay, because it addresses the system failure risk. Okay, it's not necessary like someone have to hack your system, then you find the says, because it functional safety includes the system failures, not only due to cyber attacks. Okay, so we combine this 26262, that is a functional safety, along with the cyber security 21434. Of course, apart from that, so many automotive industries, not in North America. I'm sure like in North America it's going to be happen soon, because other areas like including Europe, UK, Japan, and South Korea, it is mandatory. If you need a type approval, you need to have the CSMS, that is Cybersecurity Management System, that is R155. Again, for your software update management, you cannot get away with that. So that is a mandatory requirement. So for your software updates, you need to even include the OTA, include the over-the-air update also. You need to have the R156. So these two are the key things. I'm sure like many North American companies in automotive industries in North America, they already following this R155 and R156, even though it is not mandatory for a type approval. Okay, so this is what the current situation here is. So we focus on the major ICS equipment, applications, and software. We focus on four things. One is in the testing their company's industry's testing infrastructure, then the supply chain and the manufacturing plan, the floor level, then the enterprise side, and then the application and service side. Okay, so if you want more specific, no, if you want more, if you are going for a more specific one, so it is I can show you the one. See, in vehicle systems and connectivity interfaces. These two are the specific focus our risk assessment focus on. Okay, our risk assessment focus on the ECUs, electronic control units, communication side, then the sensor and actuators. We focus on sensor and actuators up to the even even if it is not a IIoT, if it is a connected one, we focus on those cameras and radar ultrasonic sensors. Okay, of course the T box. So T box are the telematic control units for the and for the communication side we focus on GPS, cellular, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth modules. And the connectivity interfaces we focus from everything. That is V2X, everyone know. So that is a vehicle to everything. So it includes a vehicle to vehicle. It includes a vehicle to infrastructure. It includes vehicle to network communication. Okay, so V2V, V2I, so V2N. It includes everything. We do that. Our risk assessment is focused on V2X. That is vehicle to everything. And of course, we focus on specific. We spend around 1 to 2 hours only for the OTA update systems. Okay, because that is very important here. So we focus on Bluetooth and Wi-Fi USB ports and mobile app interfaces. And so this is what our specific focus for the connected components and systems. So what we would say, like, so this come to my conclusion of specific core focus core area. But what I would say, many companies, whether it is a rail or automotive or a manufacturing or a power, there are room for improvement where you can attend within your team. That is your operation and maintenance team can do a magic. Okay, when the well-trained team, they can do the magic. They can identify the cyber security breach immediately. So we have I have created a few easy one, so you can do it yourself. Okay, either in spite of any verticals, you are in a mobile, automotive or a rail, you can do it. So you have to do you have to approach, you have to hit the low hanging fruits with your O&M team. There is operational maintenance team. They can do that. Okay, these opportunities, they can identify the risk. So outdated and vulnerable softwares, they can identify and do that. So they can be trained for that. Then the inadequate network segregation they can do, because they may not your ground level team may not be able to tell you the architecture level, but they will be able to do the logical and physical segregation. Okay, so same way the lack of system hardening, they can easily identify that. Weak access control, yes, they can easily identify that. Then there is insufficient logging and monitoring, because logging and monitoring is very much important for the operator level. Okay, so that is what I term it as a low hanging fruits. Okay, you can easily support them. They can do all the MFAs and security patches and other things. Okay, so likely if you see that the opportunities wise configuration, you have a huge opportunities due to misconfiguration. That is 35%. Okay, then the next large one is patches and updates vulnerabilities. So if you include these two, so this is more than 50%. Okay, then the identity and access management, then the SaaS, then the rest of the things will come in that, including the encryption and authentication. So if you can do it yourself with a simple methodology and simple strategy, so for your ground level team. So this is what our my I've been stressing upon this. Okay, so thanks, and I would go for one more just a polling here, and so that what is your top priority for improving industrial cybersecurity in the next 12 months? So you heard it in the next 12 months. So what are you planning to do in the next 12 months? So are you going to update your outdated infrastructure, or you want to enhance the employee training and awareness, or implementing threat detection and response system, or improving network segmentation, or achieving the compliance and certification? All are looks important. But what is your take? So you tell me now. So you can take 10 to 15 seconds for this. This is very, very important. This is very important for you to plan for the next what you can do. Okay. I can explain you like when when you start hitting the button, and I can wait for this. Okay. So this upgrading the outdated infrastructure, I'm sure like this can happen periodically, and for enhancing the employee training and awareness is very, very important. Okay. So and implementing the funnel threat detection and response system, it's a operational requirement. I'm sure like this can be addressed as based on your the policy, security policy. Then the network segmentation. So I'm sure like most of the thing like no, if for the brownfield plant, network segmentation, unless it is critical, you will not go for that. Okay, you will not go for that, but definitely there is a room for improvement on this. Okay. Then for the achieving compliance and certification is very important for your for your day-to-day requirement, and for your competitiveness, and for your own plant safety. So these are all the things. Let me see the score. Yes. So for 42% of you have mentioned you need enhanced employee training and awareness. Okay, that is what I also stress upon. Okay, and the next one is like upgrading the outdated infrastructure. Sure. See, what I would see when when you enhance your employee training and awareness, most of your problems will be solved, because so the human chain is the weak chain in this cybersecurity world. So that is why you need to upgrade that. So that is what. So enhance your employee, have a different level of training, individual personal level training, team level training, and for the operator level training, and no, even for the operation and the maintenance team, there can be a specific training. So this is the reason like no, I specifically mentioned on that. Okay, this is where Tufsud Americas no, they can come into picture here, because Tufsud is an independent neutral body known for the industrial on-site cybersecurity risk assessment, and it is unbiased evaluation, because Tufsud Americas don't sell anything. They don't sell a solution. They don't sell product. Okay, they're service. So they're the service for more than 150 years here in TIC company. There's a TIC field. Okay, and it's a globally recognized brand, and the services are recognized everywhere, and they're deeply familiar with major internet cybersecurity standards. We have the individual cyber subject matter experts for the individual domain, so multiple domain. When I say like rail, automotive, and that domains plays a major role here. Okay, then so there whatever today I stress upon the risk assessment, 10 stage or 5 stage risk assessment, it is all on site. Okay, so they don't Tufsud don't believe on this traditional checklist, with a paper checklist 100 to 150 questions. You check it whether you're okay. So it's not that. So we work on the on-site risk assessment for industry. That is the only thing it will work practically. Okay. So moreover, when you do the risk assessment for multiple vertical, I'm sure like you have covered most of your certification requirement. So for your certification, you need to do the risk assessment. When you do the risk assessment for your to protection, so your certification risk assessment is almost covered. So you can guarantee for a easy certification journey. So TÜVSÜD can also issue a certification when you complete the balance requirements. So that way, like your on-site risk assessment plays a major role here, and these are the few services what they can offer. And greenfield, for a greenfield project, I think all the advisory and consultancy services have been included, starting from the network architecture review and other planning. Okay, and for the brownfield uh, projects, so it involves everything, starting from risk assessment, what we just discussed on 10 stage and 5 stage. Then there's a cyber risk insurance. the 6443 assessment for both process, product, and integration, service provider role, and of course for the automotive. Then come to the NERC requirement. Okay, NERC requirement, we do the compliance risk assessment. Also, we do the mock. Okay, we also do the mock compliance audit, because that will give you a time and for you to prepare. Okay, so the what I said, like in the last thing you said, you need a training. You need a training. Your employees need to get trained properly. Okay, you have multiple modules for cybersecurity training and industrial cybersecurity. So to start with, you can go ahead with level 1 training of the foundation training for 6443. Then for the advanced level training with the professional level training. Okay, yeah. So this concludes my presentation. I'm now open to questions, please.
Okay, great job, Siva. Thank you so much. Really learned a lot about industrial cybersecurity. So far we've had a question and a comment and a few other questions. So person asked, is it quantum safe? But maybe you need more specifics on that one. And then the comments from the same person, security access would be challenged while training employees. So I think we need more context on the quantum safe question. Do you agree?
Yeah, for us.
Hearing a little bit of background audio.
Yeah, see, security access would be a challenge. I would agree up to some level, because it is definitely, it's not an easy journey, but it needs security access work on because it involves both practical as well as your policy level. Okay, it has to be in the DNA, so it cannot happen in a single day. Okay, you need a proper practice and implementation on that. So security access, you need to have, without that you cannot go ahead with that. So you have to plan to mitigate that risk. So that is the requirement here. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Siva. Okay, we have a couple more minutes for questions. Another question that was submitted: when assessing industrial cybersecurity plans, what tends to be the top vulnerabilities?
Which one you said? Can you repeat?
When assessing industrial cybersecurity plants, what tends to be the top vulnerabilities?
Yeah, see, again, the top vulnerabilities, it involves everything. Starting from, we cannot go into too much of details, but I can suggest you with 4 to 5 important things. So one is starting with one is segmentation. So network segmentation and the legacy, because the legacy is the one which poses more risk everywhere. Because most of the OT cyber security, the networks and it does. You take it like the protocols. It's a Modbus protocols. It's mostly in the OT systems. It will not have an encryption or authentication. It is easily exploitable. So that poses a major major vulnerability. Then next, go to the segmentation. So as you said, I think I've already covered during our presentation. If you have a flat networks, it will allow the attackers with the lateral movement. So you need to have the segmentation with a micro segmentation level and VPN. You combine with that, you do that. Then there is a remote access. So the remote access is a major risk. Everyone agree, whether you're it's your supply chain or your vendors or your OEM. So these are all the 3 things. Of course, the default credentials and other patching. So patching, I say in IT you get every week patches, but in OT even a critical patches, it is very difficult to implement because of the practical reasons. So that way, you need to have the patching window planned well in advance. So these are the major vulnerability I could see.
Okay, thanks, Siva. I think we have time for one more question. Here's a question from the audience. Can you explain how an organization balances usability and security when implementing multi-factor authentication, MFA, across different systems, especially in environments with both on-prem and cloud infrastructure?
See, it is very much, MFA does not have a single window or single plans for, cloud and other, web-based applications. But when you have a industry side, say industry requirements, MFA plays a major role here because for example, if it is a, on-site based, if it is an on-site based or HMIs or HMIs or server, Windows servers or engineering workstations, you have the MFAs placed into major individual level of MFAs. For example, when you any OEMs when they have need to access their PLCs to to expand the PLC systems or the infra for your ladder logic or any expand if you're increasing your what do you call it, your production area. So the MFA plays a major role here, and it many times practically seeing it been skipped by the field people. Okay, but for your cloud it is not like that. In cloud it is mandatorily getting applied in MFAs. I would say like cloud has a upper hand in this. So when you compare that one, it is easier for MFA to get applicable in the cloud and web-based requirements. But on the field level and the plant level requirements and then the OT side and the ICS side, MFA is really challenging, and but still, it is a mandatory. You need to follow that, but there are practical difficulties here.
Okay, great. Thank you, Siva. Well, great job today. Thank you so much. And I want to thank all of our participants on today's session. And as a reminder, the recording will be available soon after the event if you or any of your colleagues missed any session. And don't forget to stay on to complete our short survey. We really appreciate and look forward to your feedback. And please visit our website, www.tuvsud.com, to learn more about industrial cybersecurity, securing your plant, and ensuring compliance. And thanks again, Siva, and thanks everyone for joining. So please stay on for the short survey. Thank you.